Hey, it's Gavin Seim here. And yesterday, President Obama declared himself king as he signed a bunch of new gun laws by executive order, showing once again the tyrant that he is. And of course, even though he continually violates the law and the Constitution, our Congress, our government officials, they keep playing the game because almost every one of them is in the same bed. And they do nothing because they're not defending liberty. They're not honoring the Constitution, and they're not honoring their oath. Meanwhile, down in Harney County, Oregon, patriots have stood up and said, we're going to start ousting the federal government who's illegally occupying these lands. We're going to start stepping up against the terrorism coming from government against counties like Harney. We're going to start supporting the rule of law. And so these patriots are down there, and their lives are literally on the line. This isn't a protest. They thought last night they were actually going to be attacked violently by government agents, even though they've done no violence, even though they've broken no laws, even though they're just there defending the Constitution. They're showing us what it looks like to be founding fathers, America. And so let's address some of the concerns. Well, you have patriot groups and political groups and militias, and they're making excuses. They're releasing these press releases that look more like something that would come out of a wishy-washy congressman's office than from a patriot group, making excuses for why they're not going to support this. And the excuses, of course, are ridiculous. You know, they're saying, well, they shouldn't have gone on the offensive. Well, this is too far. Well, this isn't the right time. This is not like Lexington Concord. You want to talk about Lexington Concord, guys? On Lexington Concord, after the initial shots were fired, the initial people fell, after that smoke cleared and the British soldiers rode off, what did the patriots do? What did the militias do? They gathered together, they hid in the bushes and in the weeds and in the trees with the blessing of their preacher. The people got together and they said, we can't stand this anymore. We have to stop the abuse of our people. We have to love our neighbor and defend the rule of law. They didn't want a revolution. But what happened when those British soldiers came back? Their countrymen, they were not Americans, folks. They were British subjects. When their countrymen in those red coats rode back, they started shooting them down because they said, we have to stop these criminals. And from that, a new republic was born. But we've let the rule of law go in this nation because we're lazy and apathetic. And so here when this stand comes that patriots have been talking about for years, oh, someday we're going to stand up. Now there's a stand here and they're making excuses. Other people are saying, oh, well, there's provocateurs and this is a false flag. Stop making excuses. They're pathetic. You know, George Washington had his Benedict Arnolds as well. But the stand down here, it's lawful, it's honorable, it's principled, and it's bold. These patriots are on the line on the Oregon front, defending your liberty, trying to keep this country from being gone entirely, trying to restore the rule of law and stop the terrorizing of communities and individuals by this lawless government. Other excuses say, well, they shouldn't have gone on the offense. We should always be on the defense. We should never fire the first shot. Yeah, I agree. And so do they. What they're talking about down there is peace, it's principle. They don't want to fight. But it seems the government does. You see, the patriots, when they're stepping up, just like the people at Lexington Concord, they're not on the offense. They're on the defense. Our government, the U.S. government, declared war on liberty and on the people of the United States a long time ago, guys. They gun down and kill over 1,000 of us in the streets every single year. The judicial system is totally corrupted from the local level all the way to the Supreme Court. The jury system is corrupted. People are put in prison for non-crimes. They're dragged off just like the Hammonds were, precipitating this situation as they're taken off to be put in prison a second time under terrorism charges for a crime they didn't commit, because they were accused of arson for burning weeds and backburning the property. Are you kidding me? The rule of law in this nation is gone, and these patriots on the Oregon front, they're stepping up and they're saying, let's get together peacefully and principled, and let's restore the rule of law. Now, if you can't support that, how are you a patriot? Tell me that. How are you a patriot? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every man, woman, and militia group and everybody that says they're a patriot needs to be going right down there right this moment. You've got to answer to your conscience, and you've got to do what you can, but we certainly shouldn't be opposing it. We should be supporting in every way we can. We should be spreading the word. We should be correcting the lies from the media. We should be making it clear to the world that the patriots are the American heroes defending the rule of law, and the government is the terrorists, because that's exactly what the case is. We should step up and actually start standing by the rule of law in this country, defending the Constitution. If we're God-fearing, freedom-loving American patriots who value the liberty of our children, we have to step up and stop being cowards. We have to be willing to take a stand in whatever capacity we can be most useful. And maybe that means heading down there. They need bodies. Maybe it means sending supplies or resources. Maybe it means just letting everybody know the truth about what's going on. But we have to step up. As a Christian, I'm called to be a peacemaker. I'm called to love my neighbor as myself. These aren't words, folks. They're actions. You can't love your neighbor as yourself when you won't actually deliver them from abuse, from violence. When you won't deliver the innocent from suffering, when you won't step up to enforce the rule of law and liberty and our God-given rights. You can't be a peacemaker when you refuse to oppose the wicked and the lawless tyrant and defend peace. And so let each answer to his conscience. But if you're a patriot, stop making excuses. Stand up and support the brave men on the Oregon front and do whatever you can. Because this is a pivot point in history. You need to decide on what side you stand. And you need to decide whether or not you're going to let our children be slaves. As for me, I'm not going to be silent. I'm going to support liberty, vocally and boldly. I'm not going to make excuses. And I'm going to step up and do whatever I can.